Allie, it's so great to see you. More importantly, it's great to see you because this time when I met you, I could hug you. You weren't sitting down because the last time I saw you, I think you broke your foot.
Oh, no, my foot wasn't broken. I had this like really bad swelling in my feet when I saw you. Yeah, I was like limping around.
But you know what? But we talked for like almost 20 minutes. You still gave me that time. And I got to tell you something, that interview, a lot of people were clicking onto it. They talked about you. They talked about how they love your music. But more importantly, they love your inspiration. When you hear those things, how does it feel? Because that's a different level.
Oh, it feels really good to hear that. And I have to give you some credit because you asked really good questions. And it was a really thoughtful interview. So I felt very inspired to inspire, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. And again, I'm not trying to blow smoke. I was talking to somebody else about you. And I said, the way you describe her is it's like the stage is the canvas. The art, the instruments she has are the paints and paint brushes, and you are the artist, and you are creating art as you perform on stage. It's a beautiful thing that you do.
That's so kind. Thank you very much.
And the reason why we talked so long is because I was trying to get in your head, like, I'd love to know that real inspiration, where it comes from to be able to reach that, to be able to create that kind of music, because there's dance music and everything else, and that's great and everything, but then there's another type, and that's what you do. How do you reach there?
Oh man, I'm like so flattered. You know, I think it just comes down to probably like psychological stuff. Just, you know, I think a lot of us artists are working through, you know, pain and trauma, and you know, I think when you sort of put it out the right way artistically, it just sort of hits people. But you know, I think I'm obviously not the only artist to do that at all. Yeah, and I've had that experience with other artists, and it's nice to know that I get to do that for some people.
You're going to be doing that here, of course, because IHeartRadio Fan Fest. You're here, Rebel, CMW. This is the biggest event of CMW. Have you ever done CMW before as an art, you know, just getting out there?
Yeah, I did CMW last year at Mod Club, and that was really fun. And I've done CMW under some other names in the past, being a Torontonian and all.
But you're here now as one of the headliners here. It's got to be cool to watch how your music and your career has progressed.
It's so trippy. It's like, not to say that I've like made it, but just to be like at this venue that I used to dream of playing when I lived here, and seeing my name up in those lights tonight, and as I was sound checking, and just seeing iHeartRadio, like, I don't know, it's just, yeah, it all happened so fucking slowly that like it just doesn't really register, and there's so many struggles and battles along the way that, you know, so yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've been doing this for a while now, you know. You've
been doing it right. Coalition 2, since we talked about that, how do you think you've grown musically? And I want to ask about your new single too.
Yeah, well, Collection 2...
Sorry, I said Coalitions. My apologies.
No problems, confusing spelling. Collection 2 I released almost a year ago, and the single I'm putting out is actually from Collection 2. It's just we put it out way after the fact, Casanova. But I actually do feel it quite in a different musical place now compared to where I was when we last spoke. I've really been inspired by different stuff, and kind of in my writing have taken a turn away from, I shouldn't be saying this at an iHeart concert, but I've taken a turn from writing for radio. I'm more interested in sort of pushing the boundaries in other ways. But let's hope that Casanova does well on the radio.
You know, a lot has changed too. I mean, the Me Too movement has been really a strong force out there. When this started to propel, what were your thoughts in seeing everything finally being spoken out there? Because I know you're a big supporter for that. You're a big supporter for gay rights. I mean, you're a big supporter for people in being who they are and being able to celebrate who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Me Too movement, I think, has been largely positive and a real great step in the right direction. I've had so many conversations about it because I live in Los Angeles, where it all sort of started and where a lot of the people, actresses came out and said all this stuff about Harvey Weinstein, which got the whole ball rolling. And there are those that will say it's been too sensationalized. The media is jumping on good men now. It shouldn't be a witch hunt. Blah blah blah. To be honest, I don't really care. Like, let those men be scared, because I feel like the pendulum was really swung in the other direction, and now it's swinging in this direction. And at some point, it's going to come back to the middle. But people need to learn how to treat people properly. And if that means they need to be on their toes for a few years, then fine. And I don't know. I've never said that in an interview before, but that's how I feel.
Any chance that some of this will seep into some new music?
My new music is conceptual, and it's not so much about that, but that's an overarching sort of sentiment in my life, as well as gay rights and other things that you mentioned.
When are we going to hear the new music? Maybe a new single from another album or anything like that?
I can't really say.
Oh.
Soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, I don't want to let you go because I don't want you to talk too much, because, as you said, you did do some rehearsing out there. You've got a big show here tonight. Before you go, because you're so inspirational words for folks who are going through dark times and wanting to see that light, what can you say to them?
It will pass. It always does. I think, the older I get, the more I'm kind of realizing, it's not that it's going to turn out all right. It's just that life is a series of peaks and valleys. And if you can try to stay calm and have some peace in your mind, you'll go down, then you'll go up again, but you'll feel that balance sort of throughout. I think that's kind of the most realistic and pragmatic advice that I can offer.
Absolutely love it. Have a great show tonight, and looking forward to seeing you back in Toronto when you tell me when this new album is out, the name of it, and we can talk more about the music.
Hell yeah.